Hey, LinkedIn fam, good to see you again. This is Chris Schwegel, CEO and founder of Infinite Skies. We do performance psychology for real estate syndicators, but you're not here for me. You're here for you because you want to hear about the fundamentals of performance psychology. I'm guessing that you know that there's more inside you. There's more potential there. You know that the skies are the limit for you, but something's holding you back. You've read a bunch of books, you've gone to seminars, you've gone to workshops. Nothing's really getting you closer to that ideal self, that perfect person, those results that you want. So, hey, I'm going to offer you an opportunity to learn a little bit about performance psychology. This is one on one custom stuff here. And so instead of a one to many opportunity, this is a custom thing. Now, why would I have any right to be here talking to you? Well, number one, I have an internet connection and I paid, I think, 65 bucks a month for StreamYard. But other than that, I've been working for the past 19 years in the mental health field. So I've got a degree in psychology and a degree in child psychology. I have a master's in social work. I'm a licensed independent clinical social worker. I'm a licensed assisted living director. Got all sorts of stuff going on. I've been working in the field for 19 years, like I said. And the first place I worked was with kids on probation. I helped get them butts and seats, as they say. They were on probation for truancy, stealing, things like that. So we did some therapy there. Next, I worked with people who are experiencing homelessness and kind of the mental health deterioration that happens when you don't have a place to call home. After that, I worked at Domestic Abuse Project and worked with fathers who were perpetrators of domestic violence and their kids. After that, I worked at a mental health crisis facility. And now what I do is I help people get connected to mental health resources and train other case managers. So, whew, yeah, but so what I'm trying to say is I know a little bit about psychology. I think I know enough to be around the block, and I've got some book knowledge. I've also got some seat knowledge here, like a bunch of friends that I know who have mental health stuff. Addiction is in the family. I work a 12-step program myself. And so I have book knowledge and some seat knowledge here. And why real estate syndicators? Well, all of the jobs I listed before were very, very glamorous, yes, but low paying. So, unfortunately, I got sick of living in a friend's basement forever and learned about real estate investing and then learned about real estate syndication. And people wanted to get on board with stuff. And I was in a group of people who were doing due diligence on some apartment buildings when I realized I don't like doing any of this kind of crap. I don't like the underwriting or the deals, but I love supporting the people and I love getting people pumped up and motivating them to do more, to be more, to have more. And so that's what I do. That's how this gets combined. But how does this affect you? Well, I think we know about real estate syndication is it's a high stakes endeavor. We're talking 7, 8 figure deals. We're talking about taking people's investment, their time, their effort, their sacrifices, and we're going to be the ones to put it into an investment and return it with friends. That's a lot of pressure to perform right there. And so the stakes can be really high. Also, it's kind of a lonely place. And we need to make mistakes as entrepreneurs, as business people, as syndicators. We have to make mistakes. That's how we learn. Yet, we have to maintain our authority and we have to be people who are looked at as thought leaders. And so that can be a really tough needle to thread right there, And here's what I'm saying: what's relevant to you is, could your mindset be your investor's biggest risk? You've looked at the market, you've looked at the property, you have the right legal team, the right lender, you've got all the right GPs involved. But if you don't think you can get the job done, or you're feeling desperate, or you're willing to cut corners, your mindset could be a risk that you don't even know about. So, what is the role of mindset in success? Well, like I said, we need to make a bunch of mistakes and we need to perform at a very high level. We need to be productive with our time and we need to be productive with maintaining our energy levels throughout the day. We have to make decisions in a world of chaos about something that we don't know how it's going to turn out. This is, by very nature, the definition of vulnerability. This is something that involves emotion, something that has high stakes, and something that we don't know the end result of. We are being vulnerable. But first and foremost, your mindset is your key to success in syndication because this is a relationship business. Vendors, partners, investors, people who you meet at webinars. I'm talking about networking, everyone involved. It's a big puzzle, and you're a piece of the puzzle, and all the other pieces of the puzzle are people. No matter if you're doing apartments, self storage, Airbnbs, if you're doing office, flex space, triple net lease, everything there is people. And if you don't understand your own psychology, the people won't want to work with you because desperation is repulsive. No one wants to work with someone who's desperate. No one wants to invest with someone who needs the money. We all love having options. And if there's only one option, then we're just going to say no. So you've got to study your own psychology to get this figured out. I work with a number of syndicators, and I've run into 6 main common limiting beliefs that stop people's progress, that stops their growth. And they are perfectionism, analysis paralysis, fear of rejection, imposter syndrome, procrastination, and negative self talk. And so, performance psychology is going to help you navigate all of those deficits, let's say, and figure them out in a way that's healthy for you. We're not going to look at these things as negative. We're not going to look at these things as character defects of yours. This is just a current state that was suiting you at one point that is no longer suiting you now. In fact, we're not even going to try to get rid of this stuff. We're not going to call them lies. We're not going to talk crap about any of these mental states. They're all needed at some point, just not right now. And so we're going to train your your brain, your mindset to tell them to sit down, not right now. It's not your turn. And how do you find these limiting beliefs? Well, it's not by reading books. It's, no Darren Hardy book or, Atomic Habits or any of those books. They're all fantastic, but they're not going to dig deep to the limiting beliefs. They're going to help you put a band-aid on something or help you get motivated for a little bit of time, but they're not going to keep you going. It's like buying a knee brace. It's going to get you running or doing one or two activities, but it's not going to make you a runner. You've got to do that work. And you become a runner by taking a look at your identity and changing who you think you are. And we've got a number of ways that we can do that. But this is custom one-on-one work. You have to put in the time to study your own psychology. Take a drink. I get so pumped up and get talking so fast about this stuff. Yeah, I was on a client call earlier this week. What is today? Wednesday. I was on a call Tuesday. One of my clients was like, after I talked to you, I feel like I could run through a brick wall. And I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, bro, I could run through a brick wall right now too. We just have to make sure they're different brick walls so we don't like run into each other, like belly buck. So anyways, how do we at Infinite Skies find your limiting beliefs and then start ripping them apart? Well, we've created what's called the STARS method. This is our own homebrew here, based off of 11 different psychological theories. And so STARS is an acronym. It stands for Study Your Unique Psychology. T, tear apart limiting beliefs. A, Ask different questions. R, reiterate your reality. S, the skies open up and become infinite for you. And so, what we do here in a detailed fashion is we take a look at your identities because who you are and who you think you are and what you're capable of is attached to your identity. This is straight out of narrative identity theory right now. So, what we're going to do first is we're going to look at who you are. And the punchline here is after we do all sorts of homework and talking about it and asking great questions about it, the punchline is you're not something. You're a collection of a bunch of different people and experiences, yet you're moldable. Who you think you are isn't quite true. You're moldable. You're like a piece of clay. I'm sorry. You're a piece of clay that's spent some time in the kiln, but you're not set in stone. You could definitely be moldable. Now you've been experiencing 30,000 thoughts a day since you were 8 years old. 96% of those are recurring every single day. That hardens those identities, but there's still some wiggle room, and we're going to get in there and we're going to wedge in there and we're going to start molding that clay. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go back in time to when you were a kid. Your identities that you have right now are based on when you were 10, 11, 12 years old, when you were developing what's called post-operational thought. This is when you had the ability to think about yourself differently than your neighbor or another kid or a kid who lives in Africa or Dubai or Toronto. You realize that just where you were born, who you are, makes you different. And you start to think about history and generations and connecting and what ifs. It's pretty cool. But anyway, your current identity is very, very similar to the identity that you had of yourself when you were 12 years old. And so what we're going to do is we're going to study what was going on when you were 12 years old. Who was involved in your life? What were the messages that they were telling you? Because they were really, really wise and really awesome messages at that time. Unfortunately, what's happened is you likely haven't dissected those beliefs since then. And so they've manifested themselves from wise, sage advice into limiting beliefs. For instance, if my parents wanted me to get good grades in school, I remember coming home with a math, what do you call it? Math test, and I got a 92% on it, right? I got an A minus. Most people will be like, hey, that's great. No, my parents made me sit down and look at the 8 questions that I got wrong. Awesome, awesome, awesome way to get me more involved in school, more engaged in school, to get my grades up, straight A's after that. Terrible for making me or enabling me to make mistakes. And as an entrepreneur, as a syndicator, as a business person, as someone who's out in the world talking to people, you have to make mistakes. You have to be okay making mistakes. And so those limiting beliefs at one point were excellent beliefs. They're just asynchronous with what we have going on. We've outlived them. So we need to take a look at them. Next, what we do is we go into the future. We plan your last day on earth. We plan your funeral. We look at all the senses that are going to happening at your funeral. Who's there? What are people going to be saying? What's the mood going to be like? And then we go beyond that, 50 years after you're dead. What's your legacy going to be? Who are the people that you're going to touch? What are they going to remember about you? And what are they going to remember you for? And then we go even further. We talk to God about your life and the gifts that you were given and how you use them. And next, we're going to bring it all back home and figure out what we learned throughout that journey. And what my clients have said is this journey really helps them separate priorities from noise. It really helps them figure out who they are exactly and authentically. And then here's where the crazy part is. They start raising tons of capital and they start making a bunch more money. Things become magnetic. When you become authentic, people seek you out. Remember, people don't think of you as what you said. People think of you as how you made them feel. So when you feel awesome in your own skin, you will naturally make other people feel great in their skin. And that is the key to syndication. And so that's how we do that. So after we do all that, that's the STARS method. It takes about 3 months to go through. After we do that, then we focus on one specific area of performance psychology. Now, this could be the 4 C's of mental toughness, control of your emotions. It could be confidence. It could be, seeing challenges as opportunities, a growth mindset. It could be looking at ways that you can be more committed and follow through with things that you're going to do in life. We could look at ways to eliminate procrastination. We could improve your mind body wallet connection. We could look at different ways that you could network or sales strategies. We could look at how we can prime your subconscious for expansion. There's a bunch of different things we can do after this. It's super, super, super exciting. And so I am going to challenge you to take a look at your own limiting beliefs and think about what was happening when you were 12 years old and start this path towards performance psychology on your own. Join the trend. I mean, every NBA team has a performance psychologist. Every NFL team, every Major League Baseball team, soccer teams have sports psychologists. I graduated from the University of Minnesota. It's right up the street. They have sports psychologists right there on the bench with their players. This isn't something that's trendy or going away. It's not hippie stuff. It's here to stay. If you want to be performing at a top level, consider performance psychology. But I want to leave you with something to help you get going and that you can take action on right now. And it's going to seem really hippie-like. But this is affirmations. Affirmations, right? You go into any sort of Kohl's or Kirkland's, go on Facebook, and you're going to see motivational quotes, right? I just got to look at motivational quotes. No, motivational quotes are corny and cheesy because they're done by someone who's just like a Hallmark writer, right? So I want you to do affirmations starting today. And I want you to put them up in 3 different places in your house. They're going to be in your kitchen on a kitchen cabinet. They're going to be in a bathroom mirror, and they're going to be in your car. And I want you to just start with one affirmation. This is going to be priming your brain, your subconscious for who you're going to become. Have you ever created a goal and then totally sabotaged yourself and not made that goal? Yeah, it's your subconscious, because your subconscious is like, bro, that's not who we are. We're this thing right now. We're not that thing. And so, of course, you're not going to make it. Of course, you're going to be sabotaged because your subconscious is in charge of everything. And your subconscious is like a whiny, cranky, ornery, like 90-year-old man who doesn't want to be bothered in a 1-year-old kid with diapers body. And so you have to just massage your subconscious and try to get it to work for you. And one way is with affirmations. You are telling yourself that you're different than you actually are. But your subconscious is very good at like seeking out and finding bullshit. And so you can't BS it at all. So it has to be, your affirmations have to be in 3 different filters. They have to pass all these tests. 1, it has to be in your own voice. It has to be in your own words, which is why motivational quotes don't work. They're not in your words. 2nd, they have to be in present tense. Another reason why motivational quotes and a lot of self-help books don't work, because they're talking about you changing. And your subconscious is like, well, yeah, of course we're going to change in the future, right? We all have this ideal self, as they call it in psychology, the person we're going to become one day who's awesome, our perfect self, like that perfect lazy morning where we're reading a book overlooking an awesome view and drinking some coffee and everything's perfect. The only problem is that day never happens. We never become our ideal self. We need to make that happen. And one way we massage that and get closer is with affirmations. And so I want your affirmations to be in the present tense so that your brain starts to think, maybe I am a syndicator. Maybe I am this thing I keep saying myself. Remember those 30,000 thoughts a day thing? We're going to put this thought into rotation, and then your brain is going to keep churning it around, because that's all it does, is it keeps playing the same top 40 hits. Next, this thing has to be in positive narrative, meaning if you want to quit smoking, you can't say, I'm going to stop smoking. You have to say, I have healthy lungs, because your brain is just going to hear the word smoking. It doesn't hear yes or no, it doesn't hear the binary, the on off. It just hears smoking. Yep, we're smokers. Sounds good. Yep, that's easy. Cool, done, check. I'm off for the day. No, say I have healthy lungs. Now your subconscious is like, oh, I have healthy lungs, but I smoke. So now there's this cognitive dissonance there. And so your subconscious is going to look in the environment. What do I believe? It's so hard for me to believe this new identity. So it's going to look out into the environment. And that's where it's on you to put yourself in an environment and do things that support the affirmations that you're saying to yourself. I know this sounds like hippie crap. This is exactly what my client said to me last Monday. This is hippie crap. But it works, man. It's like, yeah, it does work. It does work. And so try it out. Let me know how it goes. And if you have any questions about performance psychology, about me, about anything that we do, about what it's like to swim so fast because I don't have any hair, just reach out and let me know. I'm here for you guys, and I'll see you next Monday. Take care.